Okay, well, a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to our 7th edition of our Travel, Trade and Enrichment series. For those that I haven't met, my name's Wayne. I look after Brand USA for Australia and New Zealand. And firstly, I'd just like to extend a very warm welcome to those that are joining us for the very first time, and a big welcome back to those that are joining us for the second time or more times. So it's great to have you joining us. I know that there's a lot of Zoom webinars happening in the travel trade space at the moment, and we've had such positive feedback from the travel trade community that we've decided to keep going with them. I think it gives everybody a kind of something positive to look forward to, and it gives you guys kind of some sense of normality during these really turbulent times. So we really appreciate your participation and your continued support. We are going to crack on. Just a few things before I do. If you've got any questions, please use the Q&A functionality at the bottom of your screen. Post any questions that you have during the webinar, and we'll have a Q&A segment towards the end of the webinar. We'll be answering your questions. If you didn't grab the Kahoot pin, don't worry. We'll share that with you before the Kahoot quiz starts. We've got $150 worth of Visa gift cards to give away. So I'll be sharing the Kahoot pin well before the quiz starts, so make sure you hang around for that. And also there'll be a recorded version of this webinar and the full presentation available to you. We'll send this out to you probably tomorrow at this stage. All right, so to give you a quick kind of overview, we've got a really exciting webinar for you today. I'm going to go over really quickly our essential trade tools. I know I've gone over these quite a few times now, but I'm just going to quickly recap on those. I'm going to talk about our fantastic 14-day self-drive itinerary, which is our Rocky Mountains and the Great Plains. It features 5 cities that are included as part of our guest DMO today, and that is Carolyn from Colorado Tourism Office. I'll formally introduce Carolyn shortly. She's going to take us on a fantastic journey around Colorado. Then we'll have our Q&A session. Then I'll give you an update on our upcoming webinars, which I'm sure you will be very interested to hear about that, because we've got New York finally coming to present to us. And then we'll have the Kahoot quiz towards the end. So let's crack on for the next 30-40 minutes that I've got you with us. So our essential trade tools. So the first one is obviously our US COVID-19 travel guidelines. These are found on our travel trade site. Now these list out all the 50 states, the District of Columbia and the 5 territories. So if you click on a particular state or city, it will direct you to the state's Department of Health website, and then there you'll find all the policies and procedures for that particular state. It also lists down all the major hotel chains for their policies and procedures, and also all airlines globally. So as I mentioned, we'll be sending out a copy of this deck. It'll have all of the links there live within the document, so you can refer back to them in the future. Our travel trade website, so this is a one-stop shop. It's got all the destination information across all the states in the USA. It's where our self-drive insider guide itineraries are, our trip planner tool, and it's got a great selection of videos and images that are all free to download for you. The website address is there. Another great tool is obviously our USA Discovery program, the official training site for the USA. We've got over 55 badges, and last week we launched a new badge, which was the Los Angeles, California Specialist Badge. And also to note, we've got a Denver Specialist Badge and Colorado Specialist Badge. So it's free to join, takes less than 5 minutes. Go to usadiscoveryprogram.com.au. Once you've completed a Specialist Badge, there is functionality for you to download the actual badge creative. So you can actually include that in any itineraries or in your email signature to let your clients know that you're a specialist in that particular state or city. Go USA TV, well, this is the premier travel entertainment channel. It's available via your app store. There's no fees, no subscriptions, and no logins required. Very easy to download. It has short episodes and full-length films that are told through everyday people in the US. And if you simply just, as I've done here, just type in, for example, Colorado, and it will bring up all the video content. One of my favorites is the Ask a Local video series. So if you haven't downloaded the app, I encourage you to do that today. Our USA trip planner, as you might know, this is my favorite tool on the Travel Trade site. This will create a customized itinerary for your clients by all you have to do is simply enter in all the destinations, plug in a few set criteria, and it will create a customized itinerary with all the must-sees and do's along the way. It will give you drive times, you can share it, you can download it, you can customize it. It's for fly drive and self-drive, and you can actually add in your own email signature or your own company branding. So it's going to make you look like an angel in front of your clients. So if you haven't had a go, I encourage you to go to our Travel Trade site and have a play around. It's a fantastic tool. Our Facebook group, thanks to everybody that has joined. If you haven't, please come on board. It's a closed private group. It's only for Travel Trade people. And if you just type into the search bar within Facebook, Brand USA Travel Trade Australia, just need to answer a few simple questions and then you're in. So if you haven't joined, we'd love to have you be part of our Facebook group community. And our friends at Connect Kiwi, who represent Grapevine in Texas, have got a fantastic virtual FAMIL program that's currently running, which goes for 4 months. You can actually, by watching or participating in the virtual FAM webinars, you go into the draw to win a spot on an actual live FAM. So we'll be sending out details with all the links here. There's already been the first one, which was a historic downtown Grapevine. The next one is Texas Wine Month, which is a food and wine trail, and that's on Wednesday, the 7th of October. So we'll be sending you out all the details for that particular virtual FAM series. And then our friends at Port of Seattle have got a fantastic competition or incentive running at the moment via their MasterCard Agent Training Incentive. So all you need to do is complete the training and then you're going to draw the chance to win one of 10 $100 MasterCard gift cards. And the winners are drawn fortnightly. We'll share with you the website address for you to participate in that training. All right, our insider guide that we're featuring today is Rocky Mountains and the Great Plains. So this is a 14-day self-drive itinerary. In the future, it will be bookable and it's fully customizable to suit your client's needs. So you can actually change the order of the destinations or the start and finish, but it does start in Denver, Colorado, and it finishes in Denver, Colorado. It features 5 cities in Colorado, and it includes Yellowstone National Park, Wyoming, North and South Dakota, Montana, Idaho, and Nebraska. Now this is available on our Travel Trade site, and there you'll find fantastic images and video content which you can download free of charge. And it's all it's all localized, so it's all in kilometers. As I mentioned, the 5 cities in Colorado it features is Estes Park, Denver, Cannon City, Vale, and Grand Junction. It also includes Yellowstone National Park, and as you can see there, it gives you kind of a brief rundown of the destinations featured and the drive times between them. And this is available on our Travel Trade site. So if you haven't had a chance to have a look, I encourage you to do so. As I mentioned, they will be bookable in the future. And we've got over 30 self-drive itineraries on the Travel Trade site. So I encourage you to go and have a look. So that kind of leads me nicely to introduce our very special guest today, who's joining us from Sydney in Australia. Carolyn Nightingale is the Australia and New Zealand representative for the Colorado Tourism Office, and she's going to take us on an amazing self-drive itinerary around Colorado welcome, Carolyn. It's lovely to have you joining us, and thanks for taking the time. I'll now hand over the reins to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Wayne. Thanks so much, and good morning, everybody. I'm just going to share my screen and we can get going on our tour around the fabulous state of Colorado. Just one moment. And okay, just one sec. All right, so let's get started. Thanks for taking the time, and I wanted to assure you that Colorado is actually open for business, and we can't wait till travel resumes and we can welcome you into our state. So located in the Rocky Mountain region of the United States, Colorado's a definite year-round holiday destination. We have over 300 wonderful days of sunshine, and the international flight arrivals from Australia and New Zealand come in and out of Denver International Airport. Today we're going to do and take you around a 14-day Colorado road trip itinerary, a self-drive itinerary. This is about the length that a lot of the Aussies and Kiwis spend in Colorado, although if they have more time, much more time is needed and welcome to visit as well. It's a big state and lots of things to see and do. So firstly, we're off to Denver, the gateway to the state, the Western USA. So we've got 3 days here. Denver is located at the base of the majestic Rocky Mountains. It's literally 1,609 meters above sea level, which is exactly 1 mile high, hence the name, the Mile High City. It's a city for all ages and for any time of the year. And as I mentioned, it's a very walkable city. So there's no need to hire the car straight away, save a few dollars and wait 2 or 3 days, and then you can pick up a car after that. So getting into Denver is very easy from the international airport. You can catch the direct rail service from the airport straight down to Union Station. It runs every 15 minutes during the day and takes about 37 minutes. Costs about costs $10.50 each way, and it takes you straight into the Union Station, as I said. So Denver Union Station is a destination in itself, just about. It's a gorgeous refurbished building. It's actually been transferred into a major transportation, dining, shopping and entertainment hub. It's got 6 chef-owned restaurants. It's got a magnificent terminal bar, and there's actually a boutique hotel located right inside the terminal. So as I said, it's a very walkable city. Running straight through the centre of town is the 16th Street Mall. That's a mile-long pedestrian promenade lined with cafes and outdoor shops. Outdoor cafes and shops. There's a free shuttle bus that runs up and down the mall. It stops at every intersection, so it's really easy to cover a lot of ground in a short period of time. The free shuttle bus also connects you to all of downtown's museums and sporting arenas, as well as dropping you off close enough to your hotel. So again, as I said, you don't need your car just yet. So we're here for many days, a couple of days, so we've still got plenty of time to take in the arts and cultures. We recommend the Denver City Pass, that it includes discounts to the following locations: the museum, the zoo, the Museum of Nature and Science, the Botanic Gardens, and I really recommend the History of Colorado Center. It really gives you a good insight into where Colorado has come from and its beautiful past. The pass lasts is consecutive for 7 days, so it's a really good program to jump onto. So shopping, who doesn't love shopping? Cherry Creek is actually the best shopping neighborhood. It's about a 15-minute drive from downtown. You can shop at the iconic stores like Macy's, Nordstrom, all our favorites, Zara. They have a discount coupon system that you can download, which offers you discounts to all of those shops. You can also visit about 20 minutes to the west of Denver downtown is the premium outlets. So we always love visiting the outlets. Great lots of bargains to have and to get. And finally, if you want some authentic Western gear, you've got to head downtown to the Rockmount Ranch Wear store. It's got some beautiful, beautiful clothing, and it's actually a little bit of history. It's famed for the owner and the founder of the company was the first to introduce the snap-down press studs on the Western shirts and replacing the buttons. So that's a little bit of information there. We have 7 professional sports teams: the Denver Broncos for the football, the Colorado Rockies baseball, the Nuggets for basketball. We've got hockey, soccer, and 2 lacrosse teams. All of the Denver sporting arenas are close to downtown, so it's easily accessible to get there. And because of our 7 teams, no matter what time of the year, you'll always manage to catch a professional sports game. One of my personal favourites and things to do is to walk along the Denver Beer Trail. You can visit the 35 plus craft breweries and see where more than 200 beers are crafted every day in Denver. If you're doing it at night time, there's lots of cocktail lounges, jazz clubs, and beautiful restaurants as you pass through in Larimer Square and Denver Union Station. Lots of time to visit some other unique neighbourhoods, all about a 10 or 15-minute Uber ride out of downtown. One is the River North area, which is famous for its street art murals. They change every 2 or 3 months or so. They're all done by local artists. And you can visit some of the great buildings and old factories that have been refurbished and repurposed into great bars and restaurants. There's another There's another area called Highlands, which has got some great unique shops and restaurants as well. And you can sit there and get some great views of the Highlands Bridge and downtown into Denver. And finally, before we leave Denver, a visit wouldn't be complete without a visit to the Red Rocks Amphitheatre. This is a world-famous outdoor music venue, which is just 20 minutes west of Denver, and it's the only naturally occurring, acoustically perfect amphitheatre in the world. Legends like the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, and Rolling Stones have all played here. It's also a free city park, and it's open all year round with lots of hiking trails as well. During the summer, you can also take yoga and Pilates classes on the steps of this amazing venue. Next, we're heading to Fort Collins. So this is situated at the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. It's just about an hour just drive on the I-25, and it's also home to the Colorado State University. A little fact you might not know, that downtown Fort Collins is famous as the inspiration for Main Street in Disneyland, USA. There's plenty of festivals and events being held during the summer. It's got a vibrant nightlife, plenty of family fun activities as well, as you can see there, downtown whitewater rafting, or ride the wild and scenic river on the Cache La Poudre River. So from Fort Collins, we're now heading to one of the most popular parks in the country, the Rocky Mountain National Park. Even though the park attracts around about 3.4 million visitors all year round, you can still find lots of peace and solitude in the vast area of the park. The eastern entrance is the town of Estes Park, and that's how you get into the park. And for a day in the park, I've put some examples here of what you can do. You can take the Trail Ridge Road, which is a roller coaster route crossing the Continental Divide, offering great photo opportunities and heaps of breathtaking scenery. Lots of family hikes. You can hike up to Gem Lake or to the Bridal Veil Falls. In the afternoon, you could stop at the Open Air Adventure Park for ropes and bridges courses, aerial tight ropes, and lots of swinging logs and lots of fun for the family. And in the evening, you could wind down for dinner at the famous Stanley Hotel. This is an amazing 109-year-old hotel that sits on top of the hill overlooking downtown Estes Park. And you can take a guided tour, which takes you through the underground tunnel, and it reveals where Stephen King was inspired to write that creepy, creepy movie called The Shining. Then we're off to Steamboat Springs. This is a real old Western town surrounded by incredible natural beauty. On the water, there's lots of activities: rafting, kayaking, tubing, paddleboarding, or on the land, you can do the hiking, biking, horse riding, or you can ride the mountain coaster and enjoy zip lining courses. As I said, you could park the car because there's free shuttles and buses available everywhere. Summer's a great time to visit as well because it's full of events and festivals, and you can visit any of the 100+ restaurants and pubs and the 3 craft breweries. Now we get to the relaxation and therapeutic part of the itinerary. Colorado is actually home to 30 natural hot springs. Glenwood Springs. This town hosts 3 premier hot springs, and it's actually home to the world's largest natural hot springs swimming pool. And after you've immersed yourself in the beautiful hot warm water, there's plenty of activities to get involved in. You can do the rafting, the cycling, or you can also visit Glenwood Caverns Adventure Park, which is a mountaintop theme park, which has lots of thrill rides and cave tours and much more. Then it's on to Pagosa Springs. So we can take a dip in the Pagosa Springs Resort and Spa, and this actually features the world's deepest hot springs pool. So one's got the largest, one's got the deepest. Again, lots of outdoor activities, rafting or tube down the San Juan River. Or you can actually take the 17 miles, drive 17 miles outside of Pagosa Springs and visit Chimney Rock. It's a national monument and it's home to where 200 ancient homes and buildings have been preserved, so it's a great place to visit. Ouray. It's often named the Switzerland of America because it's situated in the river valley at about 8,000 feet. It's surrounded by beautiful snow-capped mountains, the San Juan Mountains. There's really popular great activities that you can do. Jeep tours and canyoning are really popular. You can get a guide and an expert instructor who takes you down to the canyon places that only canyoners would get to see. So there's full and half-day trips bookable for beginners and to advanced. And then we're heading on to the beautiful towns of Silverton and Durango. Silverton's a tiny town which seems frozen in time, and you can walk around the streets marveling at the Victorian era buildings, the historic railroad and the abandoned mines to explore. Durango gives you a real taste of Western heritage and culture. And from Durango, visitors can still board the historic 1880s Durango and Silverton Narrow Gorge Railroad, which is, it takes you on a 45-mile trip through the San Juan Mountains to the old mining town back up into Silverton. So that's from Durango to Silverton. So whatever left time that you have permitting, you can either visit one or all three of the remaining national parks. We've got the Black Canyon of the Gunnison, which is appropriately named because the walls are often shrouded in shadows and they make them look black. It's so deep that the sunlight actually only makes it down to the river below about a few hours a day, and it's amazing to see. There's also the Mesa Verde National Park, which is an amazing and really educational experience where you can learn about the ancestral Puebloans who inhabited this Mesa Verde Park for nearly 700 years. There's guided tours that take you to the ancient cliff dwellings where they all lived. And then finally, there's the Great Sand Dunes National Park. This park contains the tallest sand dunes in North America, which you wouldn't expect. And it's also just been recognised as one of the newest dark sky parks, which is excellent for stargazing. For our final 2 days now, we're heading to visiting beautiful Colorado Springs. So it's Colorado's second largest city. It's only about an hour south of Denver, and it's home to Pikes Peak, which they call America's Mountain. Endless blue skies, great temperatures, and lots of attractions and activities. The Garden of the Gods is rated the #1 park in the United States and features towering red rock formations that you can see on the image there. It's home to 2 state national parks, and actually the whole Pikes Peak region is an outdoor paradise with lots of opportunities to hikes and bikes and climbing and camping and horseback riding. Colorado Springs is also known as the Olympic City, USA. It's home to the US Olympic and Paralympic Training Center. And also in July this year, we opened the Olympic and Paralympic Museum. So this is the most accessible museum in the world. And it's got some really interactive exhibits as well. Like you can virtually run against the athletes on a 30-meter dash. You can feel what it's like to walk shoulder to shoulder with members of the American USA team during the opening ceremonies. And always art and culture. There's plenty of arts on the streets. You can take a self-guided tour. There's heaps of museums and galleries. And again, free shuttle buses that can take you from Colorado Springs to the 2 historic districts of Old Colorado City and then on to Manitou Springs. One more thing, that's the end of our itinerary, by the way. We would now head back to Denver and of course extend our stay if we have time. One more thing I wanted to share with you is a slide on our Care for Colorado. It's a statewide campaign to promote mindful conservation of the state. And you can visit our website, colorado.com, Care for Colorado, just to understand it and look up some of the key principles. We're also running a campaign at the moment called A Dose of Colorado Calm. It includes some great videos, and we've even created a Colorado Calm playlist on Spotify, so you can check that out too. For resources, we've got plenty of digital brochures available, 1-page fact sheets, holiday guides that I can share with you for your clients. I can help you out with itineraries, sample itineraries for your self-drive clients where we can focus on the national parks or the hot springs, or some bespoke itineraries we can help you with. And also multi-state itineraries for anyone interested going, sharing not only Colorado, but into the other states surrounding. So these are my details. I wanted to thank you all for joining me today. I hope you've learned a little bit more of what's on offer for Colorado. We don't know when, but we all hope that around the corner is when we can jump on the planes in the near future and we can come and visit. So I'll give you back to Wayne. Thanks, Wayne.
Thanks, Carolyn, for an amazing presentation and a fantastic itinerary. There's so many spots on there that I really want to visit now, having seen your presentation. I just wanted to ask you, what would be your favorite spot to visit or thing to do in Colorado? You might need to unmute yourself, love.
Okay, gotcha. I really love the outdoors, and so I love getting into the national parks. I've only been lucky enough to see one of them, which is the Rocky Mountain National Park. But I was also really lucky enough to see a concert, a bluegrass concert at Red Rocks Amphitheatre, which was very related to Colorado and the theme of the music. It was absolutely fantastic. But one thing I haven't done and I really want to do, I love horses. So my next visit, I'm heading to a dude ranch for sure. That's where I want to do.
Sounds great. Thanks so much again, Carolyn.
You're welcome.
That was fantastic. Team, if you've got any questions, now's a great time to post them using the Q&A functionality. That would be great if you could post questions. If you haven't got any right now, that's fine. You can just flick me an email if you think of something post the webinar, and either myself or Carolyn will be able to answer it for you. Anne has just asked a question. Thanks for your question, Anne. She's just asked, she's quite interested in the responsible travel information. Anne has groups that would really be interested in that. Is that something that Anne can download?
It's actually a specific part of our Colorado.com website, and that link is included in the presentation. But yes, it runs through all the principles of sustainability and responsible tourism and things like that. So there's quite a lot of information there, so she can certainly find it on the Colorado.com website.
Great, and we'll have a link to that sent out to you post this webinar as well, Anne. So thanks, Carolyn, and thanks, Anne, for your question.
Yes, thank you, Anne.
And your contribution. Any other questions, team? Now's a good time. If you, as I mentioned, if you can't think of anything right now, or you think of something post the webinar, we will definitely get back to you with an answer. So if you haven't got any more questions, I'll just give it a couple more seconds. We'll continue on. Okay, so Vicky's just asked, when is it busiest in Colorado? Thanks, Vicky, for your question.
Thanks, Vicky. It's certainly, as I mentioned, it's spread across the whole 4 seasons, actually. Obviously, wintertime is very busy for the snow regions. You know, you've got the famous Aspen, Snowmass, and all of this big ski areas. But summertime is really great too. So yeah, I would suggest for our probably our May and June is probably a really great time to go. So it's just after the snow season has sort of finished, and it's coming into their into a beautiful time of the year over there. So yeah, it's kind of open all year round, that's for sure. But yeah, probably December and the ski season is quite busy.
Cool. Thanks, Carolyn, and thanks, Vicky, for your question and your contribution. All right, we're going to move on now, team. So details of our next webinar. So 2 weeks from today, on the 14th of October, we will have NYC & Company, which is the tourism board for the city of New York. This will be at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, so bookmark that in your calendars. We'll be sending out to you invitations to participate, and then 2 weeks after that we'll have Park City, Utah joining us to talk about a lot of snow and ski. So please book that in your calendars as well. We'll be sending out details of that to you also, 2 webinars that you don't want to miss. All right, so moving